Yo, what's up, guys? We're back with another video, and guys, UFC 312 Dricus du Plessis versus Strickland is happening this weekend, and guys, this is one of the greatest cards of all time, man. This is the greatest card. This might be better than UFC 300. No, okay. This is one of the worst cards I've actually ever seen as far as recent years go. Okay, I can't make jokes about it. It's like this card is actually so terrible. I've talked about it in multiple videos already, but like this is a rough card, but you know, I'm going to be covering this whole card. I'm going to give my full predictions for UFC 312. This is not that many good fights on here, to be honest, but without further ado, let's just get into them. All right. Starting off, we have Quillan Salkilld versus Alshla Jabil. Honestly, I'm going to go with Quillan. I know Quillan's making his debut. I saw his fight on the Dana White Contender Series. He looked pretty good in that fight. And I feel like he's going to... I don't know how skilled he's going to be when he gets into the UFC this weekend. Because that's the thing with these Dana White Contender guys, you know. Like, they beat up guys, like, easily, but then when they fight someone in the UFC, boom, they lose their first fight, and it's like, well, you know, were you that good? Were you anywhere near good? Or was the guy you beat, like, an actual can? You know, stuff like that. But I feel like Quillan is different. I think he's, like, actually, like, UFC level. I think he's good. I don't think he's gonna I wouldn't be surprised if Quillan KOs Inshla, but... I'm going to go with the safe pick, and I'm going to have him win by decision. Alright, now we have Jonathan McHealth versus Kevin Jouslet. I'm going to go with Kevin. This is a close one for me, but I don't know. I feel like Kevin's going to get done, and I'm gonna have some more fun with these picks. I'm going to have Kevin winning by TKO in, like, the first round, I feel. I don't know why. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go for that fun pick. I can't really, most of these guys, I don't know who they are. They're just random NPC UFC fighters that you'd see on UFC 5 or something like that. So, like, I can't really say much, so I'm going to have Kevin winning by TKO in, like, the first round. Alright, now we have Ronju versus Cody Steele. You know, this is one actually is a little bit tough. This one's actually, like, a decent fight, I feel. I was very tempted to pick Ronju to win this fight, but I feel like Cody Steele's going to get it done. I remember in his fight, he won the first round, and then he was starting to lose in the second round, but then he just kept moving, and he kept, like, marching forward, taking all those shots, and then he found like the one shot to him in the body, and he TKO'd him. It was a nasty body shot, actually. Nasty work that kid did. I could see Ronju winning this fight, but I think Cody Steele's gonna improve more than how he was in Dana White Contender Series, and I could see him TKOing Ronju, but again, I'm gonna go with the safe pick with Cody Steele by decision. Possibly the most excited fight on this whole card besides like the actual like main event, Cody Thickness versus Alexander Topuria. Also, side note, that is one of the weirdest names I've ever seen. Cody Thickness, like thick. What makes this one so interesting, guys, is the fact that, for one, this is Alexander Topuria is Ilia Topuria's brother. He's making his UFC debut, so that's going to be very interesting to see how he goes. And Cody Thickness is, on paper, if you look at him, he's like, well, this is just a short-nosed guy. But Volkanovski is going to be in his corner. And Topuria is going to be in his brother's corner. So really, this is Topuria and Volkanovski, like, 2.0. Like, it's going to be very interesting. And I was going to go with Topuria's brother. But when I look at this dude's record, and I see the opponents he fights, I'm like... they're just not good. One of them's like, I think 7-29. Like, yeah, yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys think about that, but to me, I feel like Cody Thickness, even though he's fought cans as well, I feel like he's fought better guys. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm like delusional picking Cody Thickness here, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like, and the fact that Topuria's brother got KO'd in like the first round against a guy who made his debut, by the way, and I know that was from like 2015, and now he's probably improved a lot better. Since then, he's now on like, I think a 4 or 3 fight winning streak, all by finish. But I don't know, man. I feel like Cody Thickness is gonna get an upset right here, so I'm going to go with Cody Thickness by decision. All right, Wang Kong versus Bruno Brazil. So, obviously, we know Bruno Brazil is from Brazil, hence her name. but that's a very interesting name. But I'm gonna go with Wang Kong by KO. Actually, I think she would. First of all, I had her. I didn't really see her last fight. I kind of skipped that one because it was like at night for me. So I'm not staying up like the whole night to watch a fight night card. But I did see some clips, and it was relatively competitive against her opponent. But once she got taken down, she got submitted. I feel like she's gonna want to improve on her grappling, especially since she just got submitted in her last fight. And I feel like she's actually got legitimate power. She's actually like one of the few like women fighters that actually has like pretty good knockout power. So I'm gonna go with Wang Kong by KO in like the second round. All right, now we have my GOAT, Tom Nolan, the greatest fighter of all time, guys, versus Vishav Borishev. I can't believe I got that name right. Hopefully. Now, with Tom Nolan, guys, okay, here's the thing. Tom Nolan is the greatest fighter of all time. He's going to be a champion, guys. You guys got to watch out for this kid. This kid is badass fighter, guys. But, okay, let me tell you something. Even though I am a Tom Nolan fan, I'm probably, like, the only Tom Nolan fan in, like, the entirety of the UFC. But I think this, okay, in all seriousness, though, I think this actually be a really tough fight for him. I think Borishev is actually a really good test for Tom Nolan. He did get chinned in his debut. That is something to take note. But since then, he's on a 2-fight winning streak. I could very much see him losing this. But I'm going with Tom Nolan. I feel like Tom Nolan is going to be improving. Because for one, he's young. So he's going to be improving his skills like every time he fights because he's young. And he's also taller. And I'm pretty sure he has the longer reach. So I feel like if he wants to win this fight, he's got to keep his distance. He's got to keep the jab out with his boxing and all that and some of the kicks and get a decision win. So I would like him to TKO him because that would be a good win for him and a good statement for him. But I'm going to go with Tom Nolan by decision. All right, now we have Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. I mean, Jack Jenkins was able to beat the greatest fighter of all time, Herbert Burns, guys. I mean, if you can beat Herbert Burns, I mean, you're already in, like, the GOAT talks, guys. But no. Okay, in all seriousness, I don't know. I think this actually could be a pretty solid fight. I don't know why. I just feel like it is. I know I get those wrong all the time. I said that Randy Brown versus Brian Battle was going to be an absolute war, and it was, like, probably the worst fight in the whole card, arguably. But I think this is going to be a decent fight, actually. I think I think Jack Jenkins is going to do well on the feet, and I think he's going to... I'm going to go with a fun pick. I'm going to have him win by TKO in, like, the second round. All right, now we have Jack Matthews versus Francisco Padro. This is a tough pick, actually. I've done some, like, more deeper research on this one. Originally, I had Jake Matthews winning this, and I can see him winning this. Like, do not get me wrong, this is a close fight right here. But I feel like Francisco is, for one, he is 1-2 in his last 3, but he's fought some decent competition. But so has Jake Matthews. And I don't know, man. I'm still having a difficult time choosing who I want to win this fight or who I think's gonna win. I think I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews, but I can see Francisco winning this. I think that Jake Matthews is gonna keep his distance and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I really don't know. This is a tough fight for me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews by decision. And I do think this is actually gonna be a pretty solid fight, to be honest, guys. Also, guys, I just realized that this is actually like the main card now. I didn't even realize this. This is how bad the card is. I didn't even realize we were now on the main card. That's how terrible this like pay-per-view is. Honestly, disgraceful that this is a pay-per-view. All right, next fight we have Jimmy Crude versus Radiflo Beltor. How do you even say that name? Yeah, guys, I know I pronounce fighters' names like terrible. I know this, guys. I know this. But like, come on, like, look at these names. When you have some guys who have, like, Jimmy Crude, who's, like, that's an easy name to pronounce, and then you have Radifo Bellatorto, I'm sorry, it's like, come on, give me some slack. Okay, but actually, I'm gonna go with Bellato by TKO in the first round. I don't know if you guys remember, but when he fought I think it was Petro, or it was the Ukrainian emo guy, like, you know the one I'm talking about with the long hair and all that stuff. He almost got TKO'd in, like, the first round, but then he made a comeback and actually was able to TKO him. And it was one of the most, like, I feel like that was, like, one of the most crazy first round, like, finishes I've ever seen in recent years. Because, like, he almost got TKO'd, and then he was able to survive, and then TKO the other guy. So, I feel like his chin's going to be really good coming into this. He took the entirety of 2024 off, which I was very surprised about. And for Jimmy Crude, I don't think Jimmy Crude's that good. He was once decent, but I don't think he's that good anymore, to be honest. I could see him winning this, but I'm going to go with Bellato by TKO in, like, the first round, to be honest. I think he's going to, like, throw a lot of punches and just, like, bada bing, bada boom, and he's TKO'd. That's what I'm going at. Alright, now we have the featured fight on this pay-per-view card that costs $80, guys. The featured fight on a pay-per-view. Justin Talfa versus a guy who is making his debut in the UFC. I'm just going to leave it at that. Talson, like, Teixeira, if you want me to say his name, yeah. But I'm going to go with Justin Talfa. I could see this other guy winning. He is extremely tall. He does have a decent reach. Honestly, you know what this fight reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of Mark Hunt versus Stefan Sturv. If you guys remember that one, that's like a long time ago. This one reminds me of a lot about it. But, and again, you have the long, taller guy who's not as fat, and then you have the short, fat guy. And I think the short, fat guy is going to win again because, I don't know, for some reason, some of these fat guys, they just like, some of them are like terrible. But then you have some who are like terrible, but they have like crazy knockout power and they swing like everything in their mama. So I'm going to go with Justin Talfa by KO in the first round. I think they're going to be like swinging a little bit, and Justin Talfa's going to get the better shots and get a KO round one knockout. All right, now we have the actual main card. No, I'm joking, but we have the co-main, Zhang Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. I don't know. I feel like I could see Tatiana Suarez winning this, but I don't think she's that good, to be honest. Injuries have plagued her career so badly, similar to Dominic Cruz. I just heard yesterday that he retired, so it is sad that he retired because of his injuries, but yeah. But with this fight, I feel like Zhang Weili is just way too good for these fighters. I feel like she's like really good. She's probably like the best fighter in her division. She could arguably be the best women's fighter right now. I think this is actually going to be pretty interesting. Zhang Weili's fights are usually like pretty entertaining. Not because they're like wars, but like it's the performance she puts on, like showing her dominance throughout the whole fight and schooling these contenders. So I'm going to go with Zhang Weili. I do think that Tatiana Suarez is probably going to be her toughest test. But I still think she's going to win this fight. So I'm going to go with Zhang Weili by decision. Alright, now we are on the main event. Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Listen, I have talked about it so many times. I literally just talked about it in my last video, which was like a couple hours ago, guys. Like that, I don't want this fight. I want Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Pretty much everybody wants this fight. I get why the UFC did this. I do understand why we have this fight, because technically Sean Strickland does deserve it. He had a close fight with Dricus du Plessis. A lot of people said he won that fight. I personally think DDP won that fight, but I do not disagree with anyone who says that Strickland won that fight. I do not disagree. It was some of those rounds were like coin flips in my opinion. But I think that this fight, the second fight, is gonna be a lot different. I think Dricus du Plessis is gonna use his grappling a lot more. He had some good success with it when they first fought, and I feel like his grappling has gotten a little bit better, especially against Adesanya. I know Adesanya isn't like the craziest grappler. He got submitted pretty easily, but I think Adesanya's takedown defense was really good, and the fact that DDP was able to take him down pretty easily, it says a lot in my opinion. So I feel like Dricus is going to be able to take him down, and he's going to control him throughout most of the fight. And I'm going to go with a hot take. I think that he's going to submit Sean Strickland in round 4. I actually think that. I think after some scraps in like a couple of rounds, like maybe in the first round they stand on the feet, they're both competitive. Then in the second fight, or then in the second round, they both are still on the feet, but Dricus mixes in the takedowns, and then in round 3, he has a lot more success and then takes him down again, but Strickland's able to survive and he gets up And then round 4, Dricus takes him down again, and then he eventually finds a submission. That's what I'm going to go with. I think Dricus du Plessis is going to take him down the 4th round and submit him. But guys, that is my full card predictions for UFC 312. Let me know what you guys think of this whole card. Do you think it's like the greatest pay-per-view of all time? Do you think it's the worst pay-per-view? It's the worst pay-per-view in like recent years. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Listen, this is one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen. I can't believe it. But it is what it is. I ain't paying for this. I ain't paying for this, guys. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!